So the Rebbe relates like this. That the Frierdiker Rebbe once related at a Farbrengen during the Seder. That's the words, a Farbrengen during the Seder. As follows, that in the year Tafri Samachay, which would be 1904 or 1905, but it ended in 1904, during the, referred to the Russo-Japanese War. Russia and Japan would war for several years over territory, Korea and other areas there near China for control. So he says here the actual war itself was 2 years, but it was 5 years overall of aggression. So he related the Frierdiker Rebbe that was Pesach, right, of the year Tafri Samachet, 1904, 1905. So my father, the Rebbe Rashab, invested a lot of effort to send matzahs and the needs of Pesach for the Jewish soldiers on the front, Russian Jewish soldiers. So then there came a telegram from the soldiers to Lubavitch, and they thanking him for the matzahs and the Pesach supplies, and they signed it like this: Soldaten akopes Shanghai, soldiers in the trenches of the border of Shanghai, the trench warfare. So the Rebbe Rashab commented when he received the telegram as follows: that there are letters from the Baal in the name of the Alter Rebbe, that there are letters from the Baal Shem Tov, where the Baal Shem Tov signed his letters. This is a whole story. The letters that were found in the Geniza of Kharson, at any rate, and authenticated. The Baal Shem Tov would sign himself Yisrael of Okup. Now, the Baal Shem Tov didn't live in Okup. He lived in Toulouse, as he signs on many letters. So why is he calling himself, signing himself Yisrael of Okup? Listen to this. In Toulouse, there was a big wall. And after many years, it fell. And all disappeared, and people took away the bricks and so on. And all that was left were these deep trenches, the foundations of this big wall. Baal Shem Tov's parents were so poor that they couldn't live even in a small little hut house in the city, and they lived in these trenches. And that's why he called himself Yisrael of Okup, because Okup, in Russian it sounds like, or whatever the language here is, Ukraine, means trenches, chfiris, pits in Russian. And so the Frierdiker Rebbe, he told over the story, concluded that this telegram, when the soldiers said, "Thank you," from the soldiers of the trenches of Shanghai, mirrors and reflects the Baal Shem Tov, who, in the words of the Frierdiker Rebbe, the Baal Shem Tov's matters do not end, they continue. That's the story. So the story is that the Frierdiker Rebbe is drawing an association. The story of the soldiers in the Russian front, of the Russian Japan in Japan, to being in the trenches, to the Baal Shem Tov being in the trenches. So the Rebbe comments and says that since this story was told at the Seder night, it's connected to Pesach. And what's Pesach? Is coming from the trenches. From the depths I call to you. From the 49 levels of Tumah, the Eden merited to the greatest heights. And likewise, the whole Baal Shem Tov's whole emergence, the time of the birth and revelation of the Baal Shem Tov, Eden were in a very low state, a spiritual state of faintedness, as explained. And the Baal Shem Tov aroused the neshamas of Eden from this state of faintedness. Like we see, when a person faints deeply and nothing helps, so you whisper his name in his ear, and you summon forth the neshama. Likewise, the Baal Shem Tov, his name was Yisrael, which is the essential name of all Yidden. So he came, and it was a word whispered, called forth the neshama within every Yid. There was in a state of this spiritual coma. That's how it was. Begashmis and Baruchnius, the Jews, most Jews felt disenfranchised and cut off from the elite scholars in a state of despair. Begashmis and Baruchnius, Baal Shem Tov came to arouse them from there to the greatest heights. And that's also reflected in his own personal life, that he was born in this profound poverty, and so much so in the very trenches itself, and not in a home. But it's dafke from the Meitzah, from the constraint from the trenches, that the Baal Shem Tov, that we merited his great revelation of Chassidus, through which we will merit redemption. The Rebbe concludes, and here is a lesson for our day. This was said, the Rebbe said this in 1960. We're learning that at the second night of Pesach, and the Rebbe would speak about the Haggadah after the Seder. We just finished learning the Maimer, the Maskilim Yasiru. So here's the lesson. We say to a Jew that at any moment Mashiach can come. She starts to think and look around the world about him. It's darkness and redoubled darkness. And he looks at his own situation, and he says, how could I, knowing where I'm holding, in a moment, should be this great change from the depth and constraint to the absolute height and expansion? So we tell him, like the days you left Egypt, I'll show you wonders. There was dafke from the oppression and the lowness of Mitzrayim that they reached the ultimate expansion. And the Baal Shem Tov and all that he brought are eternal, and the words of the 50th Rebbe do not stop. They continue, as reflected in the telegram from the soldiers on the border of Shanghai. The dafke from the chfiris, from the trenches of the Baal Shem Tov, we arrive and we are victorious. They were in a battle, victorious in all of the battles, and we bring the Geula Shlema. May be for us without delay. Amen. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed the story.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Thank you, Rabbi. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.